They called you Marxist, they've called you socialist, they've called you communist, they've made fun of the way you eat with your hands, make fun when you eat with forks and knives.
I mean, this is all the Republican Party has to offer. Cheap jokes about Islamophobia so as to not have to recognize what people are living through. We have active duty military families in line for food pantries. And amidst all of this, the focus of so many is just how much bigotry they can engage in.
Zohran Mamdani joined MSNBC to clap back at JD Vance, who had a lot to say about his experiences with Islamophobia, because to a straight white Christian conservative man, of course, oppression and bigotry is not real. So leave us a like of the video if you can. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's see what he has to say.
They called you Marxist, they've called you socialist, they've called you communist, they've made fun of the way you eat with your hands, make fun when you eat with forks and knives. They've called you privileged. But it seems like over the last couple of weeks, and there have been a lot of Islamophobic attacks, but in the last couple of weeks, there's been a surge of Islamophobic rhetoric against you. And it's not new, but I'm wondering why you decided to address it now. Why did you decide to speak out against it so forcefully now?
You know, when I took a step back and listened to what was being said, outside of a question of electoral politics, outside of the question of the election, but just to the fact that major candidate for mayor in the Republican Party is slandering me as the first Muslim candidate on the verge of becoming the mayor of the city, as someone who supported global jihad. When I listened to a former governor, Andrew Cuomo, laugh and agree when a radio show host said that I would cheer another 9/11.
And I do want to touch on this again, because you often hear the right say identity politics as a negative connotation. But what they really mean is don't tell a person their identity is a benefit, because the right does the actual identity politics and they have no problem with it, right? They latch onto any part of your identity that they can, and then they use it to disparage you politically. To MAGA, Zohran is a Muslim, so he's a terrorist, he supports jihad, and all these other slurs they throw at them. You've seen all kinds of MAGA Republicans say this. If you're a communist or a socialist, you want to give everyone's money away. If you're black, you're low intelligence or a criminal, or you're unqualified for the position you're in. How many MAGA said that about Kamala Harris? If you're a woman, you can't lead. Like, the list goes on, right? You see this in the right. These are the common themes that they put forth, using identity to do so, because discrimination is their only unifying principle.
JD Vance even took a swipe at you. The Vice President of the United States took a swipe, and we have the tweet where he basically mocked the mention. You yesterday mentioned in your comments your aunt, and he took a swipe at it, saying, according to Zohran, the real victim of 9/11 was his auntie, who got some allegedly bad looks, and completely marginalizing the experience of Muslim Americans in a post 9/11 America.
I mean, this is all the Republican Party has to offer. Cheap jokes about Islamophobia so as to not have to recognize what people are living through. Attempts to pit people's humanity against each other. And I think whether it's JD Vance or it's Andrew Cuomo, it is the same kind of politics. It's a politics of division. The reason that I've called Andrew Cuomo Donald Trump's puppet is not just because they share the same billionaire donors. It's not just because they see themselves in each other. It's also because their vision of leading a city or a country is one where you are only able to build a constituency by pitting it against a
massive Christian, by the way, showing empathy in the same way I'm sure Jesus Christ would. I mean, we covered the speech. It wasn't even a 9/11 speech. So like the idea he was supposed to do that is kind of weird. It was a speech about his experiences with Islamophobia, which in a very brief part of the speech, he mentions his aunt, who like other Muslims were harassed and targeted for years after 9/11 in this exact city he's running for mayor of because of their identity, mainly by racist conservatives who, again, are now angry that the left is giving people a safe space for their identity to be a good thing, a benefit, because as you can see, it will be a major part of who you are regardless, whether consciously or subconsciously. MAGA, the likes of JD Vance, are angry and they want to minimize this so they can keep using identities to disparage people, right? Identity politics is a problem to them because they want identity politics to be their racism. They want to write off the Zohrans for being brown so they don't have to discuss the merits of his policy. They want to write off the Kamalas for being female so they don't have to discuss the merits of her policy, or whatever part of their identity it might be.
Let's just talk about the moment we have at hand. We have a shutdown of the federal government. We have Americans across this country living in fear about rising healthcare costs, about the fact that we're going to see decimating cuts to SNAP. We have active duty military families in line for food pantries. And amidst all of this, the focus of so many is just how much bigotry they can engage in.
And that part is really, really important. Trump and Vance both refuse to meet with Democrats. All as they lay off thousands, food stamps are being paused, veterans are going without, veterans are having to go to food banks to eat. That's insane. Food banks are being overly relied on by Americans in general. Nonprofits are being drained. But you know what these clowns do have the time to do? Make fun of a Muslim man's experience on social media because Islamophobia isn't real. These are the people MAGA voted into power. These are the morals they have. And when people show you who they are, when people show you what they're willing to do, when people show you what they're willing to support for their own personal gain, believe them, right? It's that simple. MAGA voters are all culpable by extension for this bigotry because they were warned that exactly this would happen. And they said, who cares? I want tax cuts. I'm just glad we have a voice like Zohran to call out some of this oppression and bigotry for what it truly is as MAGA's America takes over day by day.